Hello, everyone. I'm bluedragonfive, and with me, the always great, the magnificent Milan Jeftik, 1992. Say hello, Milan.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everything in between. This is your friend. Yeah. So you already introduced me, so yes, I am present
And accounted
and
for.
and accounted for. So what will we be doing this wondrous, glorious day, my friend?
Well, I was thinking, now that I've learned that you finished playing Arkham Origins, I figured we could talk about it. Let's discuss it. But before we do, let's talk about the briefly, let's discuss the games preceding this. Predecession of a game.
Of course. Well, Arkham Origins is obviously it's the third game in a franchise, a Batman video game franchise, which is quite critically acclaimed. If you haven't heard, you've been obviously living on Mars. So congratulations and welcome from your captivity there. Yes, the Arkham games are, some would say, the best representation of Batman we might ever have or ever had. Because it takes so many things, stuff from the movies, stuff from the comics, stuff from every sort of media source of Batman, and kind of condenses it down into this ultimate version, some would say.
Very true. I find that these Arkham games, they do give you that Batman experience. I mean, I know Cat Lowen's gone into this at lengths with a much deeper critical analysis in should be a rewind with the Arkham Asylum game review in Arkham City following it. But it's true that this you do get put in Batman's shoes in this game, and what really is appealing about that also in like City, you get to just experience this great story, but you still get to feel like Batman, this character who doesn't change. He's faced with the most horrible situations and circumstances, yet he keeps on going. That's so true to what this character is. He's a guy. That's what I love about Batman. I love how driven this guy is. In addition to the gadgets and the humanity there, it's just this guy will not give up. He has to keep on going, even if he's injured, even if again he refused to be turned to a monster in that first game, and he's faced with choices to change, like kill the Joker, let the Joker die, let the city. Let the safe all just kind of give up, join Ra's al Ghul, all these choices, all these changes, he does not change. He just keeps persevering. That's true to characters. You are literally in Batman's shoes, whether it's quite first person as the first game was with Arkham Asylum, or just experiencing that story in City, which is also fantastic.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you, well, not literally, but you kind of get the idea of the physicality of Batman, because in the comics, most of it, even now, most comic book characters have a few books to their name. Like Batman has Detective Comics, the main Batman title, and like Legends of the Dark Knight and whatever. And it would seem like this person has so much stuff to deal with that it's impossible for them to focus on one story. But it's funny because in these games, it kind of gives you a perspective that yes, Batman is doing a billion things at the same time, and yes, he can encounter 16 villains with their own personal individual plots all in one night. And yes, it's superhuman with him not just dropping dead from exhaustion, but that's the fantasy. You get to feel what it's like to be Batman. That, well, not literally, but that kind of just sheer, what it must feel like to basically run across the rooftops and make a choice between, I don't know, saving a couple of hostages from Zaz or taking on the Joker.
When I was playing Origins, and I find they have this neat little thing where it's kind of like the Spider-Man 3 game where, you can assist people in trouble. And they also have this in Arkham City where you can, help people who are being mugged. And in this game, it's like you can assist the police on the policeman, while crimes are in progress. And I just like it because I'm in the middle of a mission. Usually I just kind of play through the story mode. But in this case, more so than the Arkham City game, because those had more plots you could handle after the game. I mean, this one, I was like, and then they need my help. It's like, all right, okay, I'll be back for you, Joker. Just hang on right there. Help it out. It's a fun experience. This game was very very, very fun. But Milan, I want to pose this question, if I may.
Sure.
Was this game, this story, deserving of its own game? Like, did we need this story told, this Arkham Origins story?
Well, see, in the beginning, when people heard the story synopsis of like, oh, it's gonna be set on Christmas Eve and a bunch of assassins, because everyone was a little bit worried that Dan Didio wasn't gonna write the game.
Well, Paul Dini.
Paul Dini. I'm sorry, I get those two confused, and it's embarrassing as hell. One is I'm not gonna say, but anyway, yeah, everyone was a little bit scared, and of course, like nerds tend to do, everyone was like screaming, "Oh, it's gonna be the worst game ever! They're gonna butcher Batman and yada yada yada." But really, it has its own flavor. You can still tell that it's an Arkham game, but the story, I really quite like the story. It wasn't as extravagant and otherworldly as the first two Arkham games. It didn't have that. It wasn't set in this world of madness as the first two games were. This, like Arkham Origins, has its basis in reality. I mean, if they are going to, some would say that the first two Arkham games are a great template for a perfect Batman movie, but this Arkham Origins seems a wee bit closer to the Nolan movies. Hell, they even borrowed the cow. But it's interesting because the Arkham Origins game is tied a little bit more to realism, and yes, there are ridiculous and amazing, larger than life characters, and Firefly and Bane and Joker and all that. But most of the time, most of these guys are just kind of, I think Yahtzee said it best, assassins with half-hearted gimmicks. But while in the other two games, you actually believe that these villains are insane, and they're not doing this out of, they're not doing it for money, they're doing it for the thrill, because they're insane. But in this game, the main motivator is money, and it's a lot more clear cut. It's not as, Gotham hasn't gotten, the freaks haven't fully taken over, as it were.
Indeed. Milan, if I may, two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm glad you brought that up about this, that the games people saying they want the games into the movies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you know that originally, you remember the trial episode of Batman the Animated Series, right? When, the Janet Van Dorn and Batman are kidnapped in Arkham Asylum?
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you know that was originally going to be our Mask of the Phantasm?
Really?
At one point, that was the plan. They were just going to expand that into a 70-minute film. And you're going to show that. Again, it was going to be direct-to-video because they know they're going to be the first animated superhero film ever, which technically Mask of the Phantasm is, by the way. But that was originally going to be the premise, and Alan Burnett really felt passionate about this Phantasm story, and they kind of made that happen because they said, well, yeah, it can be solved in 30 minutes, which we did, and we got the trial episode. But on to one other thing. I kind of had the reverse reaction to the announcement of this game, Milan. Okay, do you know what my reaction was?
What?
I heard about the premise. It's like I saw like the 5-minute the game creators like talking about the game, and then the trailer came out, and I heard basically just told me the premise of the game. 8 assassins are hired by Black Mask on Christmas Eve to kill Batman. That's all we got. And I heard that premise. I was thinking, man, that is a good Batman premise for just a Batman story. Just before, like a moment before I learned it's going to be like it's a prequel game. But still, just looking at that isolated those story components, it could be a good Batman story. And when you look at it, they set it back in Origins, much earlier in Batman's career. That's an opportunity to tell a story, just like a more kind of Batman getting into the madness. He's just kind of being introduced to this stuff. And as you said, the freaks are starting to take over, so to speak, in long Halloween terms, if you will.
Well, they haven't taken over yet. It's just a bunch of assassins with half-hearted gimmicks. The madness is slowly seeping into the city.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, it's a great isolated premise. I just love that idea. It's first you got the idea. Okay, 8 people are hired by a colorful crime lord. In this case, being Black Mask, who was cool. Mm-hmm. And we haven't really seen the Arkham games previously, except his cameo in City. and mention the other one. But I mean, yeah, it had that premise, and of course, just on Christmas Eve, just to make it kind of like, well, let's make it a little bit like Die Hard. Let's set an action game around Christmas.
I like that.
Yeah, that's fun. Also, the score is wonderfully done by Christopher Drake, who's done practically now. He's kind of taken over Shirley Walker's job of scoring our animated versions of Batman, and most recently he's done this game, but before that, Dark Knight Returns, the animated film, which I think is a phenomenal score, and this score matches that also.
That was a good fucking score.
Oh, I love that Joker sequence in Returns, and he scores like the heartbeats in the background and the music. It's brilliant. But
very, very 80s. It reminded me a little bit of that classic 80s action. RoboCop, definitely.
Well, you know something, Milan? Actually, there's I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but in there's a moment in the film where you have Bruce Wayne's like walking down the street. And you see like the Crime Goblin and the mutants are listening to a boombox and they're dancing. That's a score from the actual RoboCop movie. And it's funny because they actually have RoboCop voice in Batman too. It is an 80s film, but yeah.
It's great.
It is. Yeah, you have this. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just stepping over my words here, but yeah, it is that kind of just a good premise, but you're adding more elements to it, and it's not hurting it. That's what people kind of overreacted to, because it's not so much like just saying, oh, this is going to be terrible, or that, oh, the origin story. He's a man who his parents got shot in an alley. Deal with it. It's not that simple, but it's just they're adding more elements. I don't know. I mean, the fear, it wasn't exactly fear. It was, sorry?
It wasn't the fact that it was an origin story. It was just another Arkham game, but they're just gonna put on the word Origins because it's Batman in the future. It was basically Batman in the past because, spoiler warning, spoiler.
There will be many spoilers in this video, by the way.
Yeah. Spoiler warning for Arkham City. You were warned basically the Joker dies in the second game, and so they were kind of worried, like, how the hell are we going to make a Batman game with the Joker in it? And so they said, let's just set it in the past. And yeah, I don't mind that. It's actually there's some really great moments between Joker scenes in this game. They're just took my breath away. Just like, god damn, this is really good.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, and I like the way they made him look like the man who laughs. What's his name? Frederick Voights. Basically, the Joker was the appearance.
You mean Conrad Veidt?
Comrade Veidt, yes, from that old black and white film, The Man Who Laughs.
Who actually is the inspiration for the actual Joker way back when.
Oh yeah, obviously. And they just made him look. They just took that, put it into a 3D processor, and just gave him green hair, and just that's awesome.
And it still works as a young version of Joker, and the designs also work overall for that, just young versions of these characters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say what I just found my thought just now is when you mentioned the origin talk. Yeah, I think what really was is that people were just the way Arkham City ended. People were just looking forward to the next Arkham game so much, and then they find a prequel. I want the next story, but don't worry, people. They're working on the next story, but right now we're going to get something fun just to hold us over, which is this. But it's also a story worth telling.
Oh, definitely. And it is. It just that there's this one scene in the game. Spoiler warning, by the way. That basically it's where you can assume the Joker got his obsession with the Batman. Basically,
oh yes.
Oh yeah. Because
it's the equivalent to the scene where Batman in the Arkham Asylum game, spoilers, is being carted off, and he's like raving a lunatic, and it's like Batman's worst nightmare.
Oh yeah. Basically, there's a lot of surreal and spooky moments in this game. Basically, like the Mad Hatter scenes and the Joker stuff. But there's, long story short, Bane fires a missile at the Joker. The stuff behind him explodes. He falls off a skyscraper, and Batman dives after him. A little hint, nod, not so subtle hint to the Nolan movies. catches him, saves the Joker, and basically they both survive, obviously, and the Joker gets up and is like, "Why would you save me?" And Batman's surrounded by some of the Joker's men, and then the Joker's like, shoots his men, says, "Oh, they were really bad men. They deserve to die." Then he points the gun to himself, like, "So do I." And Batman stops him from shooting himself, and the Joker's just losing his shit. He's just laughing. He's like, "Ha ha!" And he's taken away to prison, and he's just like, "Huh, why would he save me?" And like, you see the beginnings of the obsession, and then you shoot back to, Joker's psychiatric evaluation in the game, and guess who comes in but Harley Quinn?
Oh yeah, that caught me by surprise.
Oh yeah, and I love this scene because he's telling her the story, like his feelings for Batman
and how he sees the world since his accident. And of course, it's done. I want to say this overall. I'm sorry, I'm momentarily distracting from this point. The whole game in a nutshell is most cinematic of all the Arkham games, if you ask me. Again, with that Christopher Drake score, which really comes across in the scene you're describing, sir, when Joker's at the comedy club for like a moment.
Oh, yeah.
You get to fight all the other like kind of its hallucinations at this juncture, and it's to music. Very, very film-like, this whole game, especially with the cutscenes. But yeah, that sequence also. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh yeah, that scene, it was great. There were some really great scenes where they used classical music in the fights, and it was almost like
Die Hard.
Not Die Hard, like a Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I love violence set to classical music. It just gives it a certain air of class.
That is great.
And just, the Joker basically slaughtering people to classical music is just fantastic. But yeah, like basically, I love the contrast in this scene, because the Joker is basically seducing Harley by telling her how much, telling her how much he loves this one individual that changes his life, that changed his life forever. And Harley thinks he's talking about her, but he's actually talking about Batman. And so it's just
I don't even know this person's name. It's
exactly
Harley Quinzel.
Oh yeah, it's so layered, because he's seducing Harley while telling us and her and the audience about how he feels about Batman, and he's not explicit about it. It's shown in this really surreal way. You get to play as the Joker, and it's such a clever and artsy-fartsy way of telling Joker's origin, while also bringing Harley into the mix, that I'm like, I just put the controller down and gave them a slow clap, like,
take my money.
No, just like, bravo. I already gave them my money.
All right.
I'm like, bravo.
It brought a tear to your eye.
Yeah, Paul Dini would be proud. I'm like, bravo, you clever bastards. And I love the fact that when Joker sees his own reflection in the hallucination, he sees the terrifying visage of Batman that he sees.
Like Batman. It's like kind of like the Batman Begins version, the fear gas version of Batman from Batman Begins. Like, it's no human in there.
Exactly, and it's just funny that the Joker sees himself as Batman as well. So it's just both of them are two sides of the same coin, and they hinted to that without saying it explicitly, and it's so fucking clever. I'm like, you clever bastard.
It's like now that darkness and insanity has found a form. It's just like a dark blob, but now it has a form of a bat. You should have no other vision. Sorry, you should have no other look than that of a bat.
Oh yeah.
It's brilliant storytelling, I gotta say. But
yeah.
One thing I want to kind of not a complaint, but a thought, really. A thing that kind of made me think at first. In the game, such as that Harley moment. Again, I love Harley in the game, don't get me wrong, but there are a few things that, it's not that they don't match up. They do match up, so I mean, they're not taking points off. But
it's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. It's fun as hell.
Very true, very true. But, things like, for instance, I was thinking all through the game, it's called Arkham Origins. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing kind of the origins of some of the Arkham inmates, but as well as this great Black Mask story we're getting with all the assassins who aren't crazy, necessarily. Some, yes, but, pretty much they're pretty much sane. Like Firefly's basically insane. Pyromaniac kind of off the chain, but anyway. I'm waiting for some of the arguments. We got Killer Croc in the beginning, who was also an assassin, by the way. It's sometimes debatable, sane or not, but anyway, it's like I was like, Warren, where's the Arkham? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like going to Blackgate, and I like the idea of going to Blackgate and seeing that because we have non-crazy people in this world, and it's in the past too. But like, where's Arkham? And then at the end of the game, we don't even find out until the credits of the game. By the way, you did watch the credits and the after-credit sequence, didn't you, Milan?
Of course.
Good man, good man. So you're watching it, and then you hear Quincy Sharp on like a radio interview. I think Vicky Vale, if I'm correct, but voiced by
Jack Ryder.
Oh, Jack Ryder. Oh well, Vicky Vale is in this game. She's voiced by the wonderful Grey DeLisle, as always. But anyway, so like we find out like you find out from Quincy Sharp that we should reopen Arkham Asylum. I was so glad to hear that. You know why, Milan?
Why is that?
I was afraid that they were going to say, well, we'll build Arkham Asylum. I was like, wait, that whole first game is about the history of Arkham Asylum. How can you it's like the ancient history, too, like Amadeus Arkham and stuff. And they're going to forget all about it. That's going to be bad. That's kind of my underlining fear of the game. Like, how it's going to be kind of a big flaw in the logic there. But then they kind of mention, okay, it was shut down because so much failure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they addressed that, too. I'm saying he has some instances of that, and also kind of Harley's thing doesn't exactly match up, but it's not a problem because it's such a well-done sequence, you know?
Oh, yeah. Why doesn't it... Oh, yeah, that's right, because they actually had the recording of their first meeting. Yeah. But maybe you could say, like, that's their second meeting.
Exactly. I mean, anyone can find ways around some of this stuff. So, I mean, technically it's...
You can explain away anything you want.
Exactly, but I think it's kind of wrong because it was like a meeting in the Arkham game that was their first meeting. But it's fair enough. Anyone can find a way around it. The other thing, though, this is kind of a major thing we should discuss since we're on the subject of the Joker. I had a minor concern when we found out, and again, spoilers. This is going to be a spoiler warning in the video description, so don't worry anymore. But we find out that Joker is Black Mask, which caught me by surprise. And, it's kind of a wonderful, feels like the DCAU red herrings and kind of reveals, if you ask me. But we find out that Joker was Black Mask, and, he's the one who put the bounty on Batman and hired the 8 assassins. And I was wondering, well, that's kind of odd. Is that in Joker's style? I mean, I like the idea. It just sunk in, I guess, is when you think, well, yeah, so at first he wasn't enamored with Batman, and of course the whole sequence later, he gets enamored with Batman, which is great to see, but at first, so he hired all these assassins that kind of take care of Batman. He doesn't even care about Batman. He said, okay, he's just a nuisance, and he's a tough to get rid of nuisance, I'm going to hire the best of the best, using Black Mask's money, mind you. Yeah, using a bunch of money, just you take care of him, just get him out of the way so I can correct me if I'm wrong, Milan. Joker's plan is just basically get rid of Batman so he can cite madness in the city, hence the blowing up of all the skyscrapers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just making sure. So, yeah, that sounds pretty much like Joker's plot, which at first is kind of odd because, you think Joker would be more like, get his hands dirty in that regard. But I don't know. It's before he became enamored with Batman, so it makes sense. But again, these are minor things in the overall scheme, if you ask me. But should we discuss our 8 assassins?
Before we do, I just gotta say that the whole Black Mask being Joker's twist, I can't deny that I was a wee bit disappointed about that because, in the cinematic, that Black Mask, it's just I loved him because he had the eyes of Robert De Niro. Because they made the skull, the cheekbones on the skull look like Robert De Niro's face, and he kind of sounded like him too. I'm like, oh, yay, we're actually gonna have a fucking badass Black Mask who actually tortures people and is Roman Sionis, and it was just insane and just and crazy. And yeah, it's funny. Another little factor about Roman Sionis, it revealed that he has a heart condition, and I'm like, any tiny little thing could kill him, and I'm like, this is Roman Sionis. He should be dead. If he has a heart condition, he should be dead. Because Roman Sionis just goes ballistic all the time. That's kind of his, character trait. He's just
looking under the red hood. He's hilariously outraged at times.
Oh yeah, not even in that way. He's an angry man, But yeah, I'm just like, I was kind of disappointed. Like, it wasn't like this ruined the game for me. No, it was just like,
He is still Black Mask. I mean, it's
oh, he's
still
still Black
okay.
Mask, but it's just like, it's
You just wanted more of
it's.
them.
I want more. Like, I want actual Black
Yeah.
Mask because I like that there should have been more Black Mask in the game. And it was just, instead we got like Joker Black Mask. I'm like, it's okay.
Well, speaking of that, Milan, another kind of preconception I had going in the game, or kind of back in the speculatory days. My esteemed colleague, Mr. E, and I, we would throw ideas back and forth, like what to do with the next what they should do with the next Arkham game, or like what Arkham Origins is going to be about, because he's a big Teen Titan fan, also big, since Deathstroke was going to be in the game, he was real thrilled and stuff. So he also enjoys the show. So we're basically throwing around ideas and like stuff, and the thought didn't really even occur to me because I was wondering, well, if they're not going to get Mark Hamill back to the Joker, I mean, what if they just kind of used just the audio recordings of his laugh, and they kind of have a hint at Joker in the first game, so it's kind of like madness on the horizon, like you see. Either you completely just say, the man fell into a vat of chemicals, and he just kind of, he basically seeing like playing cards laid around the area, kind of like the ending of Year One, Because, Gordon was going to be a bigger part, which I'm very happy of, by the way, in this game. But, yeah. And, it could have been that, or just kind of like a mysterious guy who's like killing people with smiles, and we don't know who it is, and it's kind of just leading up like maybe that could be like a side story, kind of like the Hush side mission in Arkham City, but only for Joker, a hint at Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I didn't even expect Joker to be a big part of this game, to be honest with you, because of Mark Hamill's departure. But they got the wonderful and multi-talented Troy Baker, by the way.
Troy Baker, he's like the guy that voices video games. He's like everything.
Indeed. He also voiced Batman once. Which is
Of course he did. He's Troy Baker, he's just Troy Baker.
Indeed. We should briefly talk about the young versions of our two biggies in this game. We got Troy Baker as Joker and Roger Craig Smith, formerly known as Sonic. I'm sure Sid Bartu would be delighted in that. Mm-hmm. As Batman.
I'm a big fan of K-Wing's gaming channel, and he and his wife kind of complained about he doesn't sound like like the Batman we all know and love.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, I know, but it's just like I love Kevin Conroy. Don't get me wrong, but you gotta have more variety in your voice acting. I know he is Batman essentially, but it's just like, I really liked the guy who did the voice in
Roger Craig's. I'm sorry, on the Reddit it's Bruce Greenwood. Sorry.
Bruce Greenwood, that's the one. Bruce Greenwood. But yeah, it's just I like that voice, but like this Batman's voice, I never thought it was bad. I thought it was really good. And people say, "Oh, he doesn't sound like a young man. He doesn't sound like young Kevin Conroy." And I'm like, well, he does a little bit, but he sounds like a young man that's doing a Batman voice. And yes, I kind of do, like at times he does sound a little bit like Kevin Conroy, but he makes it his own. I hate comparing actors to each other. He does a great Batman voice. He's really good at it. He can be very intimidating when he does yeah, I'm Batman. I'm like, yay, Batman.
The interrogations, by the way, in this game, I love the interrogations are much better than they were in the Arkham City game, if you ask me. When you actually see him interrogating the thugs and stuff. Like, where is he? There is a lot of where is he in this, but it's cool though, so it's easy to forgive.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, the interrogation, I don't know if they added more from the Arkham City games, because they did use a lot of the mechanics from Arkham.
They did. It was done by, not new, but it was done by the Rocksteady Montreal division.
Oh yes, totally. Was it? Oh. Yeah, give the guys all the credit, man. Those guys did a great job.
Indeed.
I mean, if they did kind of depart from the basic mechanic, everyone would complain. It's like, but the thing is, I like the new gadgets they did give us, but it was like 2 or 3 new gadgets. But the thing I really loved about Arkham City was the fact that you had so many gadgets and you had to use your brain to figure out what to do with them. And it was just that kind of really tactical thinking in the game that really made me love Arkham City. So it's just like, okay, I need to zip line here, aim my thingamabob there, use this thingamachiki to blow up that thing over there, and just take out that guy and see if I can grab that thingy at the same time. And just there's a real, tactical thinking element to it. And I think the problem most people have with the mechanics is that they wanted more gadgets, more new things. But this is just Go ahead.
Sorry, I would cite that as kind of another, as much as I kind of hate to say it, like maybe a point against the game in some regard, in that it's yes, don't get me wrong, Milan, I am a huge gadget guy, you know that.
Oh, totally.
I love the Batman gadget, and that's another thing I look forward to these Arkham games. Oh, I love me some gadgets. But technically, he shouldn't have as many gadgets as he does in this game, and you can tell a lot of the gadgets are basically placeholders for the ones that he has in City, so we can have those same gadgets, but still in the past, which they're still neat gadgets, but you'll also notice he basically steals a lot of gadgets, too.
Oh, yeah, I like the fact that as well as, like, Alfred calls him up while he's fighting Deathstroke. He's like, oh, Deathstroke has a neat thingamabob.
I love that gadget, by the way. That one in particular.
It's so much fun. You're just like, I'm just gonna aim this, I'm gonna make this thing grab, like, a fire extinguisher and just clock a guy on the head with it. I'm like, yay! I'm like, two guys smash into each other. It's so much fun. You just troll people.
Plus, it was great in that initial fight, too, when, Deathstroke, even though he's just using it against you, I couldn't help but notice, oh, man, that is so cool. And I'm so glad we got to keep it, too. I mean, he's firing the claw at you, and then, I gotta get rid of that thing. That's awesome. And the glue bombs. Glue bombs are always fun. That was in place of our freeze grenades from the Arkham City.
Yeah. And that's about it, if I can recall.
Well, there's also the stun device that he uses on the police, or at least he's supposed to use on the police. To kind of not hurt them too bad, even though most of them are corrupt.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm kind of disappointed that Deathstroke wasn't in this enough. Like, I enjoyed the first fight with him, and I was surprised that they didn't have him. You didn't have an extra fight with him, like, at the end of the game.
You know what would have been nice?
What?
I kind of had this thought when I was playing the game, and since we have a scene with we talk to Deathstroke when he's in prison.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking what had happened. I was thinking, well, where are the other guys I've taken down in the game so far? And I was thinking, well, maybe this could kind of be like a vary thing, like depending on how many villains you've put away at this point. They all they break out of the prison. You have to fight them all at once or something.
With Amanda Waller. Oh, by the way, another spoiler. Amanda Waller comes and sees Deathstroke. I think it's just set up for the DLC, because you get a free DLC of Deathstroke. So I think maybe it's like a in-story thing of basically Amanda Waller asking him to join the Suicide Squad and you doing missions for Amanda Waller in Gotham.
No, there are two other DLCs of very big notice, in which, from what I hear, again, I can't play the DLC, so I have to wait for like the Ultimate Edition to come out where it's like in the game already. But the two ones I've heard about is that there's that trailer when you saw Batman fighting with Robin against Joker and Bane. So that's one. And the other one is one that really sounds interesting, because you see in that really well-done trailer, a 30-second TV spot, where you see just the reaction on Bruce's face keep changing over the decades, and one of them you see him training with the League of Shadows. I hear that's downloadable content also.
Really?
So you get to fight like as Bruce Wayne, League of Shadows trainee.
Huh, that's interesting.
What I hear.
I don't know. I don't know, because it looks like they just took it from the movie, because he was dressed the same way. But I just love shaven-headed Bruce. By the way, it looks cool. But
I love that prep school one where Bruce is beat up and he looks so determined. And of course he's fighting Bane. Like,
no, he doesn't look determined. He just looks kind of dead. But I like the fact that he's just like, yep, okay. It was just a really great. I think Kevin Smith put it right. Kevin Smith nearly broke down in tears talking about that in his latest podcast.
Oh, you listened to it?
I love Batman on Batman.
As do I. I think I told you about it, didn't I?
I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't.
I've been plugging that like crazy because I love that podcast. It's the animated. Talks about the animated series a lot, and you also have great talent like Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on there.
Oh yeah. I just finished listening to their duo show, and it's just great.
It is. I'm sorry. You were saying about the one he had Paul Dini on for again recently.
Oh yeah.
They make a whole show out of that 30-second. They pitch a whole show idea out of that 30-second trailer TV spot.
Oh yeah, Shadow of the Bat. I would actually watch that show, but hopefully it gets made or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just they base it. That's what if you're gonna make a Batman movie, that's what they should have done. It's just like literally a 2-second thing, like, and then fly into the action. That's all the origin you need. See, with origin movies and superheroes, they don't need to be overly complex. I mean, that like 2-second TV spot explained all you need to know about Batman's origin in literally half a second. I'm like, yep, that's all I need to know. It leaves enough mystery for exploration, and it makes people interested. But yeah, like thematically, it worked really well. But yeah, it's just. I like that, but if they did kind of set the game, well, the DLC in League of Shadows, I don't know, like, I know Batman Batman Begins, the movie game, is the template for Arkham Asylum. You'll be angry with me, but that's true. Batman Begins, the movie game.
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah, it's basically the basic template for the Arkham games. The very basic. Yeah. But yeah, it's
Except the fear works kind of differently, in which you can really terrify people in that game.
Oh yeah, like that. That's the one thing I hate that's missing from the Batman Arkham games.
I miss that and the Batmobile, but particularly the Batmobile because it'd be great to drive around.
Oh yeah, and it's just like I think the fear works so much better in the Batman Begins movie game. It's just because maybe the voice acting is better. And you can hear their heart's beat just increase whenever you're like when you start scaring the crap out of them.
Well, the thing is that you can actually kind of monitor and raise the fear levels in that game. In this one, you can freak them out, but it's just like it's like a mechanic in which they automatically get freaked out if you take out all the guys and there's one left. So it's not really that much fun. You're not actually terrifying them, but
yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't fit it in or whatever.
There's only so much you can do. I mean, before it gets all clunky and get a lot of glitches and stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. But the thing about I know this is unrelated, but since Batman Begins is the template for the Arkham games, Superman Returns, the movie video game, was actually a really fun game in a way.
Yeah, the city is the heart monitor, right?
Yeah, that's it. And it's just if they took that basic template and made a really good. If Rocksteady took that same basic template and made a Superman game, that would make me happy. But the Arkham game is just it has a few negative knots against the game. I wanted more Deathstroke, but but that just because I love Deathstroke and his redesign and voice. They should have gotten what's his name? Ron Perlman.
But this voice actor does sound similar to him. Like in the trailer, it sounded exactly like Ron Perlman, even though it wasn't. Oh yeah,
it sounded like Ron Perlman. Goddamn tongue-tied bastard me. Perlman, yeah. But he did sound like him, and that's all right. But it was close enough. But yeah, like
that fight was cool though. The game, the mechanics in the boss fights were different. They were very creative, I must say. Some people, I don't know. I think I heard some people aren't crazy about the boss fights in this game, but I thought they were really neat. Like with Deathstroke, you had to keep. That was really tough for me. It was kind of like a challenge. You really wanted to beat this guy. Like you had to keep. It's like you push the counter button because everyone's. Like myself, or kind of our go-to is just constantly push the for me the triangle button on PlayStation, so you can just counter it. But if you do it too early, then you lose. Like, oh man, this is tough.
Oh yeah, because the thing is, I like when you give a boss battle a challenge because you can't just power through. Because that's the one thing you can say about the boss fights in the Arkham games. They weren't really good.
Well, Mr. Freeze,
Mr. Freeze, he was the one exception. He was just fantastic.
I think the boss fights are acceptable, but they do get kind of better over time, and this is kind of a showing of when they're at their best in this game.
Yeah,
like Mr. Freeze was fun. It was like you get to be Batman, be a detective. Like, how do I stop this guy? How do I take this guy? You get to learn from while you're playing, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And Mr. Freeze learns as you go along. But like with Deathstroke, he is a martial artist, and they kind of showed that in the fight that you can't just power through and punch the shit out of him. Because if you do, he blocks it and he kicks the crap out of you.
To retrain your reflexes.
Oh yeah, totally. And when I finally beat him, it took like forever, but when I did, I jumped up. I'm like, yes, I am the Batman. I am vengeance.
I
I
am
am
the
the night.
knight.
I am the
am
night,
Batman.
motherfuckers.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just so much fun. I beat his ass. It was great. I
yeah.
beat it.
I love
Oh
how
my god.
respectful he was too. Even when you died at this guy's hand, he was very respectful.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you put up a good fight, but I'm Deathstroke. This could have only ended that one.
Oh yeah.
He was a honorable dick.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, there are like three Batman villains, if you ask me, kind of the ones who kind of have to. Batman's three most formidable foes are also kind of the most respectful towards him. Think about
Yeah.
you got Bane, you got Ra's al Ghul at the top of the heap, then you got Bane and also the Joker to some regard. He is kind of deranged, but still very respectful in a way.
Well, not respectful, more romantically in love.
Fair point.
Yeah, fair point. But like Bane, some people, Yahtzee also said, like, I know I'm calling back to Yahtzee, but I don't really like Yahtzee, but I don't really agree with his review that he says like, oh, isn't Bane supposed to be like a really like practical guy, and isn't he supposed to? Shouldn't he have just left when he heard the money was just like the Joker was just pulling everyone's leg?
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, I know. I think Bane would like. I think what he did was still keeping in the character of Bane.
Exactly. Can't remember, Bane wasn't there for the money. He was there to get Batman.
Oh, totally. He was
From the
just
beginning,
there.
he slapped away the file because he knows everything he needs to know about Batman already. He's been on this guy's trail. This is very true to the character of Bane. If you ask me, it kind of even indicates with my version of Bane, which is basically just take the animated series and blend it with the comics. And it's like he started out as kind of a, for lack of a better word, he started as a mercenary.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Is Arkham City pre-Nightfall or after Nightfall? Because it seems like Batman and Bane have already met.
Well, you know what? They're kind of iffy with that because technically, Azrael exists in the in Arkham City. Like he's going to be in the third one, hopefully. And so they are hinting at Nightfall. Yet, like when you die in Arkham Asylum, they say, I've broken you once, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So they kind of hint at it. They make nods to it, but it's kind of up in the air. I kind of say I don't see there's no excuse why not to do it because it's like a different version of Azrael. Not like brand new, but it's like kind of it's like another.
Yeah.
It's
I
open.
love the. Yeah. I love what Bane does to himself to try to kill you, and it's like that's an origin of Bane's freakish look.
I like
and
that.
Oh yeah,
it addressed the big problem with the game people had with Bane. That he's just kind of either a musclehead or he doesn't have much to do, and at least in Asylum, they kind of explain how he kind of got to this weakened, this hulkish state in this game, which I thought was really brilliant. We get the Bane we always wanted, then we kind of see, that's how he became like that. They gave it a reason.
Oh yeah, it makes that scene in Arkham Asylum even more creepier because you see him vaguely normal sized, at least vaguely normal shaped, and then you see him in Arkham Asylum when he's like hanging there and he's basically like crackhead thin and is like, they've drained the venom out of me. That's so fucking creepy.
We've seen Bane in this game. We see Bane at his his young prime, Then we see what the Venom's actually done to him. The cost of all that strength. Oh god.
Oh my god, yeah. That's just terrifying. Like when you drain that out of him, it just becomes this.
He looks like Batman and Robin Bane before he had the Venom.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's just that can be done right and made creepy.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, he's fucking tiny. And then he gets bigger again, like, oh my god. But the fight, the last Bane fight, it was not really a fight. It's more like a try not to die.
Yeah.
Like I love when a big scary character is trying to kill you, and that final fight with Bane, I was terrified. I'm like, oh my god.
He was so much like a horror film. I mean, oh man.
Oh my god.
Even as Batman, I'm scared right now.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Like, even as Batman.
To the grate. We have Detective Vision on. You see him like reaching through the grates and like kind of breaking it too. And oh man.
And he's reaching for you, and it's like, oh no.
And when you get caught too, you get like flung against the wall, and then oh man, it is not pleasant.
Oh yeah. You know what would have been better? If it was one hit, one kill.
That's what I always thought it was going to be at first. Like, oh no, man, at the beginning, whoa, my god, I'm barely surviving. That's even more scary. You think about, okay, I gotta get out of here. Oh.
I know, but it been. I guess it would have been gotten old after a while. But yeah, it was just terrifying. And at the very end, he starts running around,
Oh yeah.
like screaming, and it's just like, oh god, that's terrifying.
You can't throw a battering at this Bane's face and hope to get away.
But but the thing is, that's the thing. It's weird nightfall irregularities because it's just like, oh yeah, it's like he actually did break in and he does kind of know who Batman is, but at the very end of the game he doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
So he does hurt Alfred, and that kind of still in. But is it after? I don't know. It's this weird like nightfall continuity. That's I don't know.
Well, they
I
never.
guess
They
I
use,
guess Ark.
sorry.
I guess Arkham. It's okay, but I guess Arkham is like its own continuity, so that's all right.
Well, again, the Azrael thing. Even though I've heard like Kevin, who's like a huge Nightfall fan, he said, "Well, Azrael's there." And I know very little about Azrael. I just know I think a little bit about John Paul Valley, and that's pretty much all I know. But what I've heard. And that the way Captain Louis makes it sound is that it's okay. Well, Nightfall hasn't happened yet because this guy's around. They're going to tell a story with that, which he could be wrong. I could be wrong also. So I'm thinking. I think at first in the first game they implied the backbreak did happen because of the end game scene, but then they kind of said, okay, well we got a new story we could possibly tell, and we didn't really outline it, so it could just be a reference. But oh yeah, this band, I gotta say that sequence really got to me. I thought that was a great scene. Again, when I say filmic, it was a very cinematic game more than the other ones. That one scene really sticks out to me is that scene where, as Batman, you're playing, you deal with Firefly, even though you really want to. Before you deal with Firefly, you hear that you find out, oh, Bane knows who I am. I got to get out of here. I got to get back to the Batcave, make sure Alfred's safe. And then he finds out, okay, Firefly, I got to deal with this. I'll be right back, Alfred. After Firefly, you're heading back to the cave, but then you find out. Oh no. Alfred, come in. He's nothing. You get to the cave, and there's, again, a wonderful score by Christopher Drake. You're walking in, and you see the cave is in shambles. And then you hear a message from Bane, much like the scene in Justice League Doom, when Bruce is, spoilers for that, when Bruce is incapacitated by Bane in the most horrific of ways. He finds, oh no, it's like Batman's worst nightmare. Alfred, the only remaining remnant of his family, is basically dead. Bane left him alive enough just to die in Batman's arms. That is twisted, if you ask me. He goes there, he finds Alfred dead. So using the shock gloves, which again, he's stealing a lot from his villains, if you ask me, but using the shock gloves, he does this one wonderful thing. He brings Alfred back alive, because I was thinking, no, how can this happen? I'm buying into this, even though I know Alfred can't be dead. He's in the other games. Then I'm thinking, this is such a real death, but then he brings him back, and I accept it because I'm so invested in this story, and I'm Batman. I'm bringing my father figure back to life, and it's such a moving.
I know.
It's so great.
I know. Like for a second there, I thought, like, hold on, oh my god, is Alfred a robot in the Arkham games?
It's not like Coulson.
Exactly. It's just gonna be like whatchamacallit, like a robot. Like not life model video, it's just gonna be a computer voice.
Right.
I'm like, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was so invested. I'm like, no, Alfred can't be dead, and I'm like, I will shock him to life.
The other thing, I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
The other thing, I want to talk about the kind of the Bruce Alfred dynamic in this game. Yeah, I love that kind of relationship because Alfred is being very respectful, and they kind of get this with Snyder's run currently, by the way, because I believe you've been reading that lately, as you've told me.
Oh, definitely.
And you kind of see that, Alfred, in both stories, by the way, are kind of in the early years of Batman, so it's kind of a weird coincidence. But so Alfred, he's like going along with Bruce, and as he's kind of starting out this venture, and again, this is as they say in the game, this is like year 2 of Batman, I believe. This game's timeline. Again, it's just like meeting the villains of this, like dealing with these villains for the first time. Not that like they're completely new to him, all of them, But so Alfred's like going along with it, and he says, so you're just
you're a young man with anger problems and a trust fund.
Yes, that's the line. Brilliant. Yes, it's. And of course later on they got that really emotional scene going on. And Alfred's been trying to talk to Batman, and Batman really gets mad at him. There's even this nice human moment after Batman kind of reaches the drop-off point, after he snaps at Alfred in that scene. He kind of says, look, I'm sorry, I'm just in the middle of this. I apologize too, sir, that sort of thing. Then, of course, that's punctuated by that whole near death, and he cares for Alfred. But anyway, so, he's getting up to help Alfred and that stuff. It's nice. Yeah, they have a nice dynamic in this game, if you ask me.
It was just, it was such a great moment. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good game, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean, and like the shock gloves. That's another gadget you steal from one of your villains.
Electrocutioner.
An Electrocutioner.
Voiced
like,
by
that's the thing,
Steve
like,
Bloom.
Steve Bloom. I'm like, I was kind of excited to fight. You don't get to fight the Electrocutioner.
Yeah, no, he was cool looking too, and he had like a nice trailer, but then he gets it's taken out with one punch, and it's kind of that guy looks so cool.
Yeah, and he gets killed before you get to lay another punch at him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even get to fight this guy again. It was a great scene though when Joker killed him.
Oh yeah, and it's just
he's like playing on his phone too. He's playing a little dot game on his phone, and it says, "When I ask you to kill Batman, I want you to kill Batman." He pulls out a gun. Of course, no, he's in a bunch of armor or anything, but still, Joker could probably get a headshot in. He says, "Got it." And he kicks him out the thing, and he gets impaled. Eats the Rachel Gould death.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
But
I love the fact that you actually do get to fight him in the mobile game.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you actually get to punch him more than once. I'm like, and he does have like like if he kills you type of thing. Is like, I am Electrocutioner, I win, yeah. And it's like, at least you get to fight him in the mobile game. But whatever.
By the way, that mobile game, I kind of wish there was like some content or something in this story, particularly like if they could have just put some more money behind that. It could be like an after game, like after you finish, you can go to Blackgate, you can fight these guys again, or if they break out, it's more of them instead of just random prisoners you're just putting back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have loved if Grey DeLisle, because she voices Catwoman in the mobile game. And I was thinking, those scenes of Catwoman are great, and they're kind of drawn instead of animated, but still, it would have been nice if they could have just worked that into the story, something like downloadable content or something, but what can you do?
Yeah, but I love the fact how, sorry for interrupting, but as you're fighting through Blackgate, you're, the deeper you go in, the more Joker made it look like an insane asylum. It made the inmates kind of stick like, soiled mattresses to the walls to make it look like a
padded
soft padded cell. I'm like, that's visual storytelling at its best. Like, you clever boys.
Indeed. And Harley also in that scene where she's like kind of baked.
Mm-hmm.
So at first you would think, okay, Harley, well, she's been taken in by this madman now, she's done with him. But of course, in classic Harley fashion, the reason we love this girl, and the reason we want her to like to kind of break away from the madman, well, we don't really want her to. She kind of says, well, yeah, he's doing this, but of course at the end she's still interested in that wonderful wrap up we get of the game. Yeah, it's great seeing how Joker does. You're absolutely right. The design in this game is also great, with all the little detail oriented stuff. It's a shame you can't like scan objects and get like bonus Easter egg points or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of missed that in this game, because you have like so many. If you really look at the game, all those in jokes and like in Easter eggs are there. You just can't scan them.
Yeah.
You can only scan Anarchy logos. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I hate that you couldn't scan the hints and like Easter eggs. That made me mad. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, but there is something though. I'm speaking of scanning. I'm so sorry to take away from your point, but
go ahead.
The thing I love most in this game that they really expand upon since Arkham City, we got crime scenes, and I love them. They were so well done. You could replay the crimes, you scan in the evidence, and you solve murders.
Oh yeah.
And then you end up, and this one really made me a little mad, to be honest with you. You couldn't scan this one for like an Easter egg. When you go to your parents' gravesite, well, not gravesite, when you go to the crime alley, you couldn't scan that in the first game, and you had the Easter egg like Hugo Strange left the flowers there. You know, so you solve all the crimes, then you're basically at the alley where your parents died, and solving a crime where another couple got shot, and basically the outline's there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. The detective stuff in this game was great. It sounded great. They have a case of Roman Sionis too. Before, when you find out that he's in fact not dead. The Penguin's somehow involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
It is cool. I love how it's just like how the detective stuff elements are really strong in this one.
It's a bigger city too.
Oh, the city's freaking huge.
I love that.
I mean, I love that too because everything in Arkham City, everything was big when you first played through it, but then it's just like, I want more so bad.
I want to go inside the buildings.
Yeah, I want to go inside the building, but in this game, everything's so much huger. It's like everything has been increased in size. I mean, even the places that you go to in Arkham City looks bigger.
Well, we have a bridge, and we can actually travel.
Oh yeah, and that's amazing. I love the fact that everything, even from the first Arkham City, the places you can go there, they look huger in this game. This is such a larger world. It's gigantic, and I don't understand people just say, oh, it's a small world.
After all, sorry.
Yeah, it's a small world after all, and I don't understand when people complain. It's like, oh, you just go to the same places. Like, no, you don't. And it's like, it's so big and so expansive, and it's amazing. And
Penguin has a boat you can go on in place of the iceberg.
He has a fucking boat, and I love his little dialogue. How he's just like, "Oh, but he's from these Somali pirates. It's called the Queen Anne, and whatever." And it's just like it's so great that he bought this boat from a bunch of Somali pirates, and this is a freaking amazing like.
You know, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like that. He's so pleasant in that little just history of the boat, in that little model of the boat he has in there, because it's a nice little nod too, because he becomes a real collector in Arkham City. Mm-hmm. Because he has all the little cases, display cases with the dead people in them. And it kind of like starts there with that little. I bought me a boat.
I bought me a boat. I love the fact that it's from Somali pirates.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's such the world design and the backgrounds and everything in this game are just so incredibly detailed. They were in the first two games, but here it's just like it's like they weren't. It was a world, but it wasn't exactly Batman's world yet. But it's still the same world from the same Arkham games. I mean, it's like I love the boat interiors. It's just so cool. And there's just one guy who's drunk in the bar.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I wish we could have interacted with that guy.
I just love the fact he's just drunk out of his ass, and he's like, he wakes up the next day, he's like, what's going on? What happened? And all the other thugs, I'm like, dude, you missed out. Like there was a guy named Deathstroke, and Bane did a thing, and the Black Mask is the Joker, and the Joker's Black Mask, and he's like, I need coffee, go away. Merry Christmas. There's there's one more little detail that I just couldn't understand. Basically, in the church,
yes,
somewhere around the ceiling, like not way off the ground, there is a dinosaur skull with a book in its mouth.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what's that from? Like, it's just so random. Just a dinosaur, like, raptor skull in the church, up in the ceiling, holding a book. I'm like, I want to read that book. What the hell is that? I tried scanning it. It's like, no, we can't scan it. Like, God, what is that thing?
Well, you know, there's one little bit of one part of a side mission I really wanted to see. Because they hint at it at the very beginning of the game, and I just wanted it to come into play. Because before you solve all the cases, you have like a missing side mission. Like you don't get the work with Gordon to catch the prisoners until you complete all the detective work, all the crime scenes. And there's like this one I was like hoping it would be Calendar Man as the side mission, because he's at the beginning. It's a holiday game. And I'm thinking, well, we either get our holiday killer or we get a Calendar Man story. So we don't. It's kind of a shame, but
Whatever.
It's like it's a little thing, but what do you think of the whole the police stuff in this? What?
Like the police stuff, you mean?
Yeah, with just Jim Gordon in general, but also the police corruption and Commissioner Loeb.
I liked it. It was fun. I liked the fact that we got to see Barbara in the flesh. Well, in the pixels, as it were. And she's just a sweet. I love her voice actress. She's just a sweet young girl, Barbara.
Kimberly Brooks.
Kimberly Brooks, just adorable. It's just like, Barbara, you're gonna get shot in the spine by a mad clown. Sorry about
Who's
that.
in this game?
I know. And it's just like, it was just so cute. Like, yeah, you're gonna be Batgirl, and then you remember what the Joker does to her, and you're like, oh,
Mm.
that's heart
I
wrenching.
love
But
how
anyway,
she still fills that role that she does in the later games, even as Batgirl. It's kind of the way I always liked Barbara Gordon to be. Like, even as Batgirl, she was smart, but it's before that even that she's still, assisting Batman with this little side mission, like destroy the Penguin's arms deals,
oh yeah,
arm shipments,
I
and it's cool. Like she's only gonna, oh yeah, I think you're cool, and it's you should
she's a
work with my
fangirl.
father.
She's a fangirl.
Yeah, so nice.
It is fun. It's sweet. It's real cute. That's another reason why I just couldn't stand. Like in the animated series, they hinted to them like sleeping together. I'm like, I love you, Bruce, but Bruce Tim, you kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, they should have kept it a flirtation. I mean, they did in the animated series, but then in Batman Beyond, they kind of, actually, New Adventures and Batman Beyond, they kind of went over. Especially because, Jim Gordon and he are kind of pals. They work together. It's kind of your friend, your father's, co-worker. Well, not your father's buddy or something.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm screwing your daughter. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's not. But anyway, on to something more positive. I loved Captain Gordon in this game because he's captain now. Because at the end of year one, he gets promoted to captain, I believe.
Gordon was great in this game.
Yeah. Now, let me say this. In the previous Arkham games, Gordon, he hasn't been terrible or anything, no. But he hasn't had much to do. And Tom Kane, as good of a voice actor as that guy is in the first Arkham game, he's a little too gruff for Gordon, if you ask me.
He's a little bit too brutish.
Yeah. That also. But everyone was brutish in that game, so it's kind of...
Yeah. Everyone's been hitting the gym and the steroids a bit too much. Like, Gordon is built in the Arkham game. He's like, I go to the gym. I punch people in the face. He looks like Bane in that game.
Yeah, he does, kind of.
He looks gigantic. He's just like, Jesus, Gordon, you've been working out.
It's like it's the young Frank Miller version of Gordon.
Totally. Oh, totally.
I'm the commissioner of police. But anyway, but yeah, there's that, and then David Kay did a good job. Again, he didn't have much to do in the second, the Arkham City. I mean, Gordon has like this nice little, very small part, but it would have been nice if Arkham City had what Catwoman had, only you were Gordon like dealing with this madness. You venture into the city and rescue your cops instead of Batman rescuing them from the Iceberg Lounge. And you'd say, but I don't know, like it's progressively gotten better. And here we get a great job by someone ironically named Michael Goff, who is not Michael Goff Alfred from the Tim Burton films. It's just a coincidence, but a fun coincidence nonetheless. This Gordon was great. And of course, that was, again, I mentioned earlier, an aspect I was looking forward to, because if you are going to tell like a story from the past, and I like how they kind of said, like, past year one, so we don't know exactly, well, we're led to believe that he hasn't really worked with Batman at all in this game, but still he's smart enough to know not to cross hairs with Batman, even though, he's trying to arrest him, but still he's playing it smart, and he kind of learns to trust Batman. I like that story, Gordon's whole story. He learns to trust Batman, plus his daughter trusts Batman, so that makes it easier.
Well, that doesn't make it easier. It's just like, oh god, that's a madman. Like, my daughter's enamored with a madman.
I mean, later on in the game, and that, she kind of shows him, well, this guy's actually doing some good. And he's just, don't buy into that stuff. This guy's a menace. He's with the policeman. He's just, well, I work on a corrupt police force. Look at this. How are we law and order? Saying, yeah. You gotta fight for new order, new actual law and order. We gotta work together, Batman, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I like the fact that, when she basically gets the cops out of your way, and the cops are like, who's there? And then they throw gas at you. And when you turn on Detective Vision, you see just this whole room filled with armed guards, and then Barbara rushes in and is like, what the heck are you doing? I just wanted, like, a part of me regrets the fact that I just didn't run in there and just said, hey, I just beat up all the guys with the guns. I don't know how I would have done it, but I would. And what would happen? Maybe you just instantly die when they see you, or I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, like, I'm sad they didn't do much with Shiva.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very sorry. I remember what I was going to say now.
Okay, what was it?
I like that scene where Gordon, Gordon, like, Batman almost breaks Gordon's arm, but he doesn't really break his arm. It's like kind of the thing to stop him from arresting him. And he says, we're on the same side. I'm on the side of law and order. Then, of course, the cops. You have to remember, Milan, the cops in this game, their plan is to kill Batman for the reward and then kill Gordon. That's their plan in the game. So they're going to kill Gordon. Gordon doesn't know this yet. You can hear him talking in the beginning. You hear Brand.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought that was kind of like another thing. Like Gordon, he does make that discovery. Like, I know I'm not on the best police force, but there really is corrupt. And of course, what did you think of them killing Loeb in like the first scene of the game? It caught me by surprise. I thought he was going to be a bigger player. Like he was in the year one comic.
Yeah. But, whatever.
Yeah.
Loeb
Batman,
is dead.
Yeah, Batman also feels so guilty about that, too.
Yeah.
That was interesting. It's a little thing.
Yeah, like gassed in a gas chamber.
That was cool.
That was dark. That's the thing. This game is pretty, like, all these Batman games are dark, but especially this one.
I gotta tell you, I felt a little guilty as, me, the player, as Batman, just like I crashed the glass and saying, okay, I'm gonna save this guy, I'm gonna get out, but then he dies. I think, oh man, this is what it feels like to fail as Batman and then go on. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's going by. I'm sorry, you were saying about Shiva though, Lady Shiva.
I liked Shiva in this game, but it was like they didn't do much of anything with her. I'm like, come on, man.
Oh man,
Shiva.
I think the female ninjas were a little shoehorned in because we had female ninjas in the first, in Arkham. Sorry, not the first, in Arkham City.
Oh yeah, but whatever.
You're right. I like Shiva too, and I like how she kind of played things smart. And she also did mind games, sorts like saying, you can. She tries, if I'm correct here, remind me. It's been a while since I played the game, but she basically tries to re-extend Ra's al Ghul's offer, doesn't she?
Yeah.
It's basically he like at first she has this thing where she has like an infant, Batman's going there. It's like it's a fake, or it wasn't a bomb, was it? No, it was like a tape recorder or something. She goes there and says, "There's an innocent man will die in Gotham," and she's basically just taking this job not for the money, but just to. People have ulterior motives also, like Bane and Lady Shiva. There's in it to kind of get the Batman. She extends the offer to join the League, saying, how can you spare one man's life about the next? You didn't have to kill him. It sort of had to be done. People are sacrificed for the greater good, that sort of thing. She respected Batman also, which I thought was nice. But yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, remember the scene where we do find out that Joker is Black Mask?
Yeah.
That was a great scene. And the woman who's infected by the Joker toxin. That was
creepy.
But still, the reveal did catch me off guard. At first, I was thinking, oh man, this is kind of the Black Mask. At first, it was like, yeah, this is the Black Mask. He's kind of wacky guy with a real big temper. And then, wait, Roman Science is unmasked, and he's right there. What is happening here? And then this woman's laughing. Oh no, she's on Joker toxin. But where's Joker? Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like, Joker's Black Mask. How is this possible? And then, of course, they shoots Batman a few times, and then he blows him up. And the Joker writes it off without being enamored with Batman. It's just...
Yeah, like, the thing with that is just, that's the thing, like, I don't think Black Mask is a wacky character. I think he's genuinely, like, he could have been a very formidable threat. They could have done something with him, but instead it's just like they kind of copped out and had Joker in there anyway. And I'm like, I don't mind anymore, but it's just like, I liked him in that animatic. It was just so cool, just Robert De Niro, Black Mask.
I think a little more Al Pacino, to be honest with you, but yeah.
Al Pacino, that's a good one as well. But yeah. Al Pacino, that's the one I was talking about. Anyway, yeah, that is badass.
But let's cover the rest of our assassins here. We got Deadshot, Copperhead, and Firefly. Copperhead. I'm sorry to shatter your thoughts on Copperhead, by the way.
Yeah, she's not a lady boy.
At first I thought your thoughts also, Sarah. At first I thought, well, that is kind of interesting, kind of a transgender character as Copperhead. It's kind of new. Well, first just the change from male to female. I was thinking, then kind of subtext. Well, maybe Batman has that. You're right. Batman has that line. It's even in the trailer. I think that it only reports here of a man. I was thinking, what if? And while playing the game, I'm thinking, like, if maybe, like the voice is still female in them.
Yeah, but still, like,
True.
Yeah,
He's
you
got
can do a lot of things with hormone boosts, and just like, I'm like, if it was, I'm like, hell,
I was thinking, like,
huh.
I wasn't ruling it out, but I was still thinking, well, I'm looking at primarily female right now. Maybe look into it later. And I did look into it later, and again, I found that it appears to be that there's like an organization where their assassins are kind of named Copperhead, and that's kind of it's a nice way to kind of when I think Copperhead, I think of the Justice League anime Copperhead, the one that like actually bit Batman and stuff, the one that's like on the Injustice gang. And I was
The
thinking,
man
well,
in the snake suit, yeah.
yeah, I was thinking that. Well, I kind of wish we kind of had that version, but this female version's cool too, and then it's fine. Well, we
Oh
kind of
yeah,
get both. That's
I
nice.
like her. I'm enamored with her. I'm like, just like, damn.
Yeah, they have like this guard who says, "Well, you've escaped. You've just under that wonderful sequence when we see all the assassins, like them working and then being offered the black mask job, is a great sequence, but very filmic.
Oh yeah, totally.
And opening, and then she's like, she's in an interrogation room, and then of course this cop's like, no, 14 escapes. Well, that's not happening. She disappears, and then she's like in the rafters, or something.
Yeah,
She basically kills.
she pulls a Mystique, last fight or whatever that movie's called.
Indeed, but
Yeah, she pulls a Mystique. Yeah.
I'm not ruling out the whole transgender thing anyway, but well, I mean, they could always go back on that if they ever brought her back, but I think the comic's going to show that she is female. So again, last thing I'll say about it, but yeah, hopefully it didn't shatter your illusions too hardly.
It's fine. It's okay.
But I love that sequence fight though, when she kind of have our hallucinations during that fight, and she scratches him with the poison.
Oh yeah, that is creepy. That's so creepy. It is really great. I like that scene a lot.
It's the first of many drugs to affect Batman's mind.
Yeah, it's just like, I think by the time he's an old man, you just can't kill him because he's just become immune. Yeah. So he's drugged by Copperhead, and that whole sequence was. That's the thing with no. Like, I'm surprised they didn't have Scarecrow in this game.
Well, he's probably a doctor at this point. Well, you mean he could be like the last legs of his doctoral career at this point.
I know, but still, I mean, like, they didn't have him in Arkham City. You just think this would be a perfect opportunity to at least have like a mini mission with Scarecrow, just having like this something similar to what we had in like Arkham City, that you just find a boat with like full of cockroaches with a guy sitting in the middle of it just screaming at you.
I'm most certain they're going to pay that off in the next Arkham game, the next sequel.
Hopefully, I mean, if they don't, then it's just like, what if, with the Joker gone, what if they just have Scarecrow as the main villain?
Well, true. I mean, Scarecrow and Hush could be cool as our main bad guys. Hush, I love the idea with Hush, and I really hope they put him in the focus. And I think our underlying goal would be kind of our Ra's al Ghul for the game, if you will, would be Azrael. This whole Azrael plot, because it sounds like a little kind of big for Batman, which could be kind of, League of Shadows, world domination. Well, not world domination, world saving, world ecological terrorism act sort of thing.
Definitely, that would be cool.
The thing with that the Copperhead drug sequence, I want to say, is that it's more self-doubt than fear when you really think about it. It's like, he's faced with Loeb and the Gashner saying, "You let me die," and then kind of Alfred's. I don't want to say Alfred's words, but it's kind of all the doubt Bruce hasn't said there, that what Alfred said earlier. You were just he didn't say it at this point in the game, but you're still saying that you're just a rich boy with anger issues and a trust fund. He's just kind of saying, well, it's a Batman who's unsure of himself. It's kind of Bruce being new at this, and he's like a year or two, and he's kind of making mistakes, and he's Joker like killed an innocent one. Every death haunts Batman that happens. It's interesting. I like that. It is playing a lot of self-doubt, but also kind of like the long line of like drug-induced fear and like self-reflection to come in that sequence. Like, putting yourself through so much, and then you have to, by nick of time, you save yourself. It's kind of like the long list of things to come. I'm sure Bruce would be thinking about at this moment. That, we do get this Scarecrow sequence with the whole Mad Hatter thing, when Mad Hatter is voiced by the wonderful Peter Madnickle, who was recently on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way.
Oh yeah, I love his voice. But that's the thing, they really went to a really dark direction with him, because Paul Dini said he might be he basically he makes a girl dress up as Alice and do this and that, and you hallucinate and whatever. You go through you basically go through the Mad Hatter's version of the Scarecrow challenge fight.
Yeah.
But like when you finally beat Mad Hatter, like the girl is crying and Batman's like, the police are on their way, you're gonna be all right. And she like looks at him, she's like, nothing's ever gonna be all right again, and she starts crying, and I'm like, what did that bastard make her do?
I like how that just ends. Like, we don't find out why or anything. You can't talk to her again, and you try talking to her further. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's like, a party just want to beat the crap out of that little perv. Like, you sick bastard.
Well, you know what I've kind of had in my mind for kind of a Mad Hatter Jim Gordon story?
Yeah.
Like, mini tangent, if you will. Basically, we just see Gordon's dealing with a case. He's basically missing girls. And missing girls. He's probably Mad Hatter's kidnapped a girl named Alice, and he's working on the case file, which he would share with Batman. But he's also working it. But we see it from Gordon's side of things when he's getting that case file, and he's like working with the girl's family. He's like, the girl's family, like saying, "Please find her. I'm begging you, please." And Gordon, like, he's spending like late hours, kind of looking for information. He's going over old case files, which is more dead girls or missing girls or scarred girls, after this experience with the long line of Alice's that Tetch has gone through. And basically it would end with basically Gordon falls down a rabbit hole, quite literally. It's like an underground lair, and kind of faces off against a Mad Hatter somehow. Like Batman's dealing with the henchman. He kind of stumbles into there, and basically Tetch has like the girl almost like either knife point or gun point or something. And Gordon kind of has the gun drawn on him, saying, "Listen, Tetch, she isn't Alice. You know how I know this? I've looked at all the other Alice's you've tossed aside. These are scared girls. Let her go. She's not Alice. I'm the one who has to deal with these families, the girls whose lives you've ruined or taken. Just stop right now." Basically, he would kind of, it'd be Gordon kind of reasoning with Tetch, and then kind of Batman would save the day. Sort of thing. Like, Tetch would kind of question himself, and in that moment of hesitation, he'd then probably try to shoot Gordon, and then Batman would kind of stop him. That's what I'm thinking. Sorry, mini tangent, but this may be a little late to mention, but I like early on where when Bruce is preparing to go out and defeat the assassins, when Alfred kind of addresses the elephant in the room and asks, why are you going out there? Alfred does call him on this early on, saying, "So why don't you just stay in for the night? Then these assassins won't hurt anyone because they only want you. No Batman means no job." But Batman's being practical also. Because, yeah, these guys are going to incite madness to draw Batman out because they want their money. It's a lot of money on the line. It makes sense. I mean, no one's wrong in this case. I think Gordon also kind of has the same mindset. Yeah, you're the reason these guys are there. It's kind of not helping their bond, making Gordon a little distrustful of Batman at first. And we have that sequence later on in the whole Firefly thing where...
Oh, the bridge sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, what I really like about this sequence, and again, kind of a Jim Gordon moment this is built around. Of course, I like what they're doing with Firefly, which I don't know if it's inspired by Arrow or not, because I know Firefly, but I don't know everything about this guy. Like, this version of Firefly is like 90% of his body is burns. We see it like when Batman punches his face out, and he's scarred by third-degree burns and such. Anyway, he's a pyromaniac who still, even after all this, hasn't stopped. And he just loves setting things on fire for money. And he takes the job to kill Batman. Anyway, so during this sequence, Batman, he's diffusing these bombs on the bridge. And there's like one left. And basically he asks Gordon, I need you to unlock the door and stop people from coming in. And Gordon says, like, "No can do. You're an outlaw. You're a vigilante." So Batman has to defuse the bombs. Basically, during the epic face-off between these two, Firefly pushes the button. Batman can't stop. He's afraid of failure. And like, all these people are going to die, and this bridge is going to go. And like, oh man, I failed. I can't save the city. Pushes the button, and it's kind of funny now I mention it like that because it kind of reminds me of Rises, the climactic button push in Rises. Nothing happens, and we find out that Gordon he saved the day on his end, and basically Gordon, in this really mature moment, he says, "Yeah, I owed you because you were right. I should have helped you out when I did." And basically, they helped each other in that moment. They kind of realized, we can work together for the greater good. He's like, not all the way there, but we can probably work together on an uneasy alliance of sorts. Then, of course, after Batman throws over the detonator, Gordon bends down to pick it up, and we have the first, and now their mutual acquaintance, the first Bat exit, which I love that. The first Bat exit, and then, of course, earlier on we had when Bruce he pushes the button on his gauntlet to evade the police, and he gets like zapped up, even in that Joker sequence we mentioned earlier, when he dives down to save Joker.
Totally.
By the way, we had some returning voice talent from just the DC animated universe, from the DCAU. CCH Pounder as Amanda Waller. Yeah, from Justice League, she reprised the role, and
I know.
Yeah,
I just love her voice. She just has that "I will destroy you" type of black woman voice.
Oh yeah,
would I just find so incredibly sexy.
so intelligent, and like she's like thought a lot of occurrences through before she deals with these super criminals. Really nice touch. And of course, the wonderful Bobby Costanzo, who voiced Bullock in the animated series. He's come back after a long time.
I loved hearing the old guys back.
I love that too. That was great. And again, I know I didn't get to really finish this, but earlier on, our young voice actors for Batman and Joker, that's why they're so good, because they do sound like young versions of the characters. They do make it their own thing, as you said, but they there's enough leeway there to suggest, okay, they do kind of become the versions we all know and love, but still, it just sounds so perfect, and that's what the young version of these characters might sound like. It fits in perfectly, really. It's enough leeway. But yeah, the Deadshot level. What'd you think of
that? It was basically exactly the same from basically it's exactly the same fight that you had in Arkham City when you fight Deadshot for the last time.
Yeah, it's a little more to it though. It was kind of fun, and that again they kind of
yeah. They gave you, it was a lot more challenging because Deadshot could spot you and kill you in one go.
From the gargoyles too.
Oh yeah.
And then of course you have all his henchmen around the room too. Which is also, again they're changing it up, and each game's gotten better. It's kind of that's kind of the not curse, but kind of the drawback of a prequel, that you're doing so much good stuff now that you would have done had you known it in the past, but now you're actually in the past and you can't change the future. I don't know, it's a weird metaphor, forgive me.
It's okay.
Yeah, but perhaps we should get to the prison scene, then the climactic face-off between Batman and Joker. Our prison scene in which Joker has set up this elaborate trap for Batman, in which he is forced to, because Joker's fascinated with Batman now, Batman must kill Bane or he himself will die, or Joker will die. He's like, Joker's forged an electric chair of sorts.
I love that scene. Just the Joker and his electric chair crown.
Yep. Oh, that's great. And of course, then there's this moment where Kari Payton, who also voices Killer Croc, he voices the warden of Blackgate. He comes in with Gordon, and they they're like saying, watch it, Gordon. And basically, Joker now has like Gordon at gunpoint, says, Jim, sit down. We'll be baked potatoes together. Take in the show. Then of course Batman. Sorry.
I'm agreeing with you. It is a great scene.
Oh yeah, and then it's like the state.
Continue.
So yeah, so Batman's fighting Bane. Someone's gonna die. It's not gonna be pretty. Batman has to prevent this, and kind of in a classic, the way a proper Batman story should be. And we get this in Arkham City, like a film. But we get this moment where Batman kind of has a flashback, and he kind of realizes he's putting the pieces together like a detective, and he's realizing, wait, I could do this like I did before. I brought Alfred back to life, and it's appropriate, given Bane is the one who almost ended Alfred's life, and kind of gave Batman the idea. It's full circle in a way. Batman decides, he's going to temporarily, stop Bane's heart. Then he's going to bring him back to life with the gloves. And how did you feel about Gordon saying, after that happened, Joker's like, Gordon like jumps in front of the bullet, saving his life, but the vest catches it as Joker gets away. But what did you think about Gordon instantly being against Batman for killing Bane? Supposedly.
Well, basically. Well, Gordon doesn't really know much about Batman. He's just in this situation, he kind of gave Batman his benefit of the doubt, and when Batman kind of seemingly broke that,
Well, I asked that, Milan, because think about it. It's a very tense situation. I mean, someone was going to die in that situation, and basically Batman saved his life. Well, Batman saved Gordon's life and his own and Joker's life technically, but yeah. I mean, anyway, the point is, it was a really tense situation. You think Gordon would be like a little more sympathetic to that, but he's instantly saying, "Oh, haven't you killed enough people tonight?" Even though it's been one person. I don't mind because he calls Batman instantly kind of defends himself on that, saying he's not dead. I just stopped his heart temporarily. He says he wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would never do that. That sort of thing. It's like I don't know. Like part of me says it's kind of Gordon recognizing that it's a slippery slope. Like Batman realizes himself that slippery slope. One death means it's going to keep going and going. Would you feel similarly on that, sir?
Yeah. I never got that whole Batman will go killing people if he just had to do it once, because I don't know. Like I don't mind either way. It's all right with me. Like that. I'm not saying I want Batman killing folk, but I understand like where that fear comes from, because Batman is just so capable that you can't really stop him from killing folks. Because if this guy can take out like a whole room full of armed police officers from the rooftops, you can just go all Predator and snap their necks.
Yeah, I mean, Batman is all about control. If he loses that control, like someone who's so bent on control and like prevention of losing himself. Again, he isn't. Alfred says he is an angry young man at this point. So still, if he's like unchecked, who knows what could stop himself? Then, like the logical side of Batman could think, well, if I kill a threat like the Joker, for example, why should I? You slowly see like all these other threats who are equally valid in their own ways, just not like psychopath like Joker. It's like Two-Face, he's very dangerous. He should be arrested, but he's going to keep breaking out of prison, so he should die logically. Penguin, arms dealer, he's going to has the best lawyers in town. He's going to get out of there. Logically, should kill him. At some point, it's some kind of logic, like you get a sense of that. The point is, like Batman was someone with such a strict sense of conscience and control. If like he loses that control, like, who knows how he could snap in some way mentally.
Yeah, I mean, like I get that idea that he might snap, but I know what you're talking about. I think we're getting a little off topic.
Right. On to the ending, on to the big finale. We talked about Bane's fight with Batman, how awesome Bane is in this game. So let's get to the big the chapel showdown. One of the best scenes in the game, I think. The justification for why we need this game, if I may say so. So yeah, Batman's fighting Joker, and it's a well done sequence too. So you're Batman, you're fighting Joker, and it was really interestingly done in that there's this moment where you're punching Joker like crazy. They've been building towards this because earlier on when they first met, Joker literally blew up a skyscraper, and Batman just like loses it. He grabs him, saying, "How many people did you just kill?" "No one, really. I don't know. I mean, it was an empty construction site." "But this next one isn't." Batman just like knocks him around with the bombs. He's like, it's been building towards this. Just the build between these two, Batman's distaste for Joker killing people, and just like this guy's put Batman through so much and so much danger and killing so many innocent people, and Batman kind of gets his reward, if you will. He gets punching the crap out of Joker, and it's like then turns to like a slow motion hit. Well, what did you think of the whole sequence?
I thought it was one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
It was a great way of ending the game, but also promising something to be. I mean, it's just see, you can have a Joker without Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but also there was this. You also got to see some of Joker's fighting style, in which he's thrown against the stained glass, and he has very nimble fingers. He's good with knives and stuff, so he like grabs all the shattered glass and uses it like knives. It's like Joker's dancing to this. It's like the dance has started.
Oh, he's enjoying the hell out of this.
Indeed, and of course the crescendo of this, crescendo being the great score we're getting along with this sequence, is when he's like strangling Batman. Sorry, when Batman is strangling Joker with both hands, and he is so angry. He's like, he's getting, I wanted to do this all night, and Joker's like, do it, come on, hit me again. And he's like, strangling him with like the Joker's eyes are starting to go dead, and he's like seeing Batman as that, the human,
monster.
the humanless figure, the monster. He's like enjoying so much, and of course Batman restrains himself, and Gordon witnesses this event. It's kind of a bit poetic in a way, just kind of these three kind of are going to go through all these years together. Gordon being the kind of that witness to this struggle between these two in a way. Could be stretching on that, but the point is, it's like these two. The dance has begun. Batman will not kill him. Joker is going to push him until he does. And it's a wonderful thing. Gordon saying, you're a lot better than a lot of the corrupt cops I got in my force. They would have killed him instantly. And of course, I'm still taking you in. Gordon's a man of principles, but he's going to look the other way, as he quite literally does with all the bat exits. He looks away, saying, yeah, we got Joker. Saying, yeah, Batman disappears. How did you do that? I had help. Wonderful sequence, and it looks brilliant, and it looks wonderful with this really high def look. The lighting and everything, and the music, it's just a wonderful sequence. And overall, for this entire game, especially by this sequence, just all the Joker stuff, and even with the nice sequences of seeing the Joker and Bane interact, which is cool. Just seeing Joker's in control, but Bane's still even more in control, saying, "Sit down, clown." So you get 2 minutes with him. As Bane rips Batman from the elevator.
I just love that. Like, I love when a villain is capable of actually touching the hero, because it's like, yeah, he basically he gets his hands on Batman. Like, it doesn't fool Bane for a minute. Batman just crawls into the elevator, and Bane looks up like, nope, just beats the crap out of him.
That caught me by surprise.
Yeah, he's like don't mess around with Bane. Like the thing, like, I like the fact that Bane's actually getting more development
in the past.
He's becoming more. Oh, yeah, in the past, yeah. Any sort of medium is great.
True.
I think his depiction in the movie really did help.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to wrap up?
Yes, indeed. That ending, just what it says about the whole game is that this story. Milan, to be honest with you, I think the story overall, the reason it needed to be told, I think the story needed to be told because we end Arkham City on such a powerful note. The death of the Joker. We see such a powerful image of Batman carrying the dead Joker laying on the police car. And again, I think it's kind of mirrored with that sequence, because Gordon is saying, "What happened? What happened?" As Batman's walking off, and he just dropped Joker on the car. We witnessed the beginning of all this with this game, and in that sequence where Gordon, he saw Batman sparing Joker's life, and now it's come full circle. And I think we're left with the question, we're left at the end of Arkham City, now what? I mean, the next story, they're really building up this next sequel, Milan, with the story. It's a fun ride, yes, but it also has point behind it, just showing, in a weird way, Milan, let me know if I'm going too far with this thought here, but what if this whole game is kind of Batman reflecting on his early career and how he met the Joker out of guilt, out of what happened to the Joker at the end of City?
I'd like that.
Think about it, they could have added a sequence at the end. I'm not saying they should have, I'm not saying they needed to, but let's say there's a sequence at the end of this game, like a real post-credit sequence, right after that post-credit sequence. We just see Batman in the cave currently, modern Batman, brooding. And we find out it was all in Batman's head this whole game, reflecting this game. Just kind of thinking back, looking over a case file on the computer or something of this, and just looking at the clip of him and Joker, taking Joker in, or police files or something, just kind of thinking. Alfred says, "Something wrong, sir?" Batman just clicks it off the monitor. He just turns around and says, "No." And of course, just kind of build up for that next Arkham game. Just Batman's been deeply affected by this, and we're going back to the beginning, seeing where all this madness started, where the whole game started. It's an origin of I think that's really interesting. I'm glad this story was told. Seeing this game play out, I didn't know how this was going to match into the game, getting where we left off. But yeah, it really just makes that ending of Arkham City so much more impactful, because we see the romance develop.
Totally.
Yeah. So does it hold up for you, Milan? This game, and could you play this game then play the other two? Yeah,
definitely. This is. It's not one of those. It's a genuine, addition to the franchise.
Yeah. So let's say one of the very few good prequels.
Totally.
We got Monsters University, we got Red Dragon, now we have Arkham Origins.
Totally.
It's a very fun game. The gameplay is good. Yeah, there are a few glitches, but that happens. Games do that.
Well, the thing is, if you got a HD cable, the glitches tend to go away.
For me, I just kind of not restarted the game from scratch, but like I kind of like somehow like you restart the level or something, then kind of you can avoid the glitch somehow. It might just be me or my system, but that's the way I found it, because there are like officially like glitches for the game.
Basically, I saw the problem was I had a few visual glitches, but besides that, nothing wrong. And then I bought a HD cable, and once I plugged that in, there was absolutely no problem. The game worked like a dream and looked fantastic in HD.
The only glitch I have is I kept falling to the ground.
I only had that once, but when I got the HD cable, never before.
I mean, I didn't get an HD cable, I just like restarted, but that was a minor thing. Thankfully, I was able to get over it without having to deal with anything, because I heard major problems with it. Anyway. Yeah, this game has been very fun, I must say. The designs, they do in keep with that game history, because I would agree that, yeah, you could play this game in sequence. And again, it's telling almost a full circle story, and now we're going to get, hopefully in the future, we're going to get a story that's an even better addition to this. Now we've been built up for it with this game. This game has held us over and kind of building towards that like Arkham World game, as the Mark Hamill Joker kind of teased that in his video game acceptance speech. Arkham World, or the next Arkham game, Arkham 3. Well, I mean,
Arkham World would be interesting.
Yeah, Arkham World or Arkham something.
World of Arkham.
Arkham Universe. I don't know. Now, Arkham World.
Arkham Universe.
I'm going with Arkham World because Joker said it. Mark Hamill Joker said it. That's all I'm going with.
No, he didn't say it. It was written on the file.
Yeah.
The secret.
Oops! Spoilers. Everyone did a good job in this game. It's a very fun story. It's not as good as the other. It's as good as the other two, but maybe the other two are like a little more regard because they were first.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in time people will appreciate this game more. Sure, the fight scenes can be a wee bit repetitive, but the same can be said for the first two.
Or any game, really.
And you play a game long enough, it'll seem repetitive.
Well, yeah, very fun experience. I got what I paid for and what I expected. It was just a fun game with that premise, 8 Assassins. 8 Assassins after Batman on Christmas Eve, but also we got some build and we got some genuine relationship stuff.
Yeah, this might be a wee bit, controversial, but when I finished Arkham City, I wanted more.
I think we all did.
Of course. And in this game, I got more than I wanted. I got what I wanted, and I got lots more. And sure, the side missions weren't as fun as Arkham City, but you know what? They were still pretty good. It was a good, it quenched my appetite for Batman.
Now, Riddler and Anarchy were decent side missions.
Oh yeah, Anarchy. I really quite liked Anarchy because they actually put some thought into his character.
Yeah.
It's just a kid who's like going through that whole anarchy phase, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna destroy everything, and yeah, and he did bring up some really interesting points, and everyone thought that he would replace the Riddler, and I wish he played a bigger part than that he did. But Enigma, it was basically just the Riddler again. But whatever.
Well, pre-question marks. That's kind of the thing. You go the question mark trophy at the end of it all. But I will say this though.
I haven't finished the Riddler one, but yeah, question mark trophy.
Sorry.
It's perfectly fine.
The end. I will say this though. With the Riddler, what we get is I don't know. I'm wrapping up after this point, but the thing with the Riddler is that I like how when he was communicating with Batman, he's saying, I do the same thing you do, only I don't fight. I don't have to get my hands dirty and fight people over you big brute. I thought that was interesting. It's still true to the character, which is...
Oh, yeah. I like the fact that they try to make him a quasi-good guy. I just love what a condescending little prick he is.
Yeah.
He's just such a dick.
Yeah, Wally Winger, great actor.
Oh my god, just like, you just want to punch him in the face like, oh, you're not smarter than I am. Oh, oh, shut up. Just shut up. You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, overall, wonderful game, very fun. It makes me thrilled to see the next Arkham game, but even without that, I would say, look, even just with this game, it is like coming full circle and kind of a trilogy in its own right. But still doesn't mean I don't want to see more, because I really do want to see more where they left it off. But I'm very happy with these 3 games. Very happy. Best representations of Batman video game, if you ask me.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
I love this game. Yeah, well, that seems to be it.
Should we rate it?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, let's rate it out of 5.
I give it 4 batarangs out of 5.
That's good. That's good. I would give it 4.5 grappling guns, even though one of them would be technically broken because it's a half. But 4.5 grappling guns out of 5.
Yeah, that seems fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun game. Recommend everyone buy it. Hopefully you'll get a Game of the Year edition.
Oh, totally, with all the DLC included.
Yeah,
anyway, this has been your friend and compatriot, Milan Jeftik, with my good friend, bluedragonfive.
As always.
As always, I am the knight, I am vengeance, we are the knights, we are the vengeance, and yada yada. We are badass. Anyway, farewell everyone.
Take care. He does that.